It's another Patriots and Seahawks Super Bowl. Wow. Wow is all I can say. It was an exciting weekend. Really, the Seahawks game was a lot better. But let's talk about the games. Let's talk about these teams. My early night of reaction to the games and really my predictions, my early on predictions for the Super Bowl. It's been a great NFL season, and we've got some awesome games to break down. Well, first, we do have to talk about the last time these teams played. In 2014-15, the Marshawn should have run it. They had the ball at, I think, the 1, the Malcolm Butler interception to seal it, one of Brady's 6 championships. And we got to look at it. Out of this draft class, Sam Darnold, look, when I did my playoff bracket, I doubted Sam. I did too. I'm just like the rest of everyone else. But this guy was balling today. 25 of 36 for 346 and 3. I was really worried about Sam. He had those 4 turnovers, and the first time the Rams played, he cleaned it up. The Seahawks won the second game, but I was worried about Sam's resilience and just his ability to consistently play well. Of course, they played fantastic last week. They destroyed the 49ers. But seeing another game of Sam playing well, controlling it, the Rams defense, they got shelled a little bit. Smith-Njigba for 10 receptions, 153 yards. He was open all over the field. They have just, McDonald has just mastered finding Smith-Njigba open, and every time it just blows me away how the way that they run these coverages. You know, the Seattle got out to an early lead. The Rams took it back in the second quarter, but then Seattle struck back right. They led a beautiful, beautiful 2-minute drive. Of course, the Rams had a drive right before that, but it was a great TD drive, and Smith-Njigba, of course, there to get the touchdown. And Seattle, they kind of held on the rest of the game. They started a great second half. Of course, getting the ball was big, but Kenneth Walker played well. He ran the ball better than they have. I think Charbonnet's injury was definitely a factor, so they had to run it with Walker, but they did well. And, of course, Blake Corum replacing Kyren Williams. The Rams were a little short at the line of scrimmage, and I think that's where this game was won and lost. So it was kind of even here, but Seattle just got after Darnold more. Or Seattle, got after Stafford more. There's 3 sacks to 1, and the Rams, of course, turned it over once as well. So that was really the difference. It was a tight game. We kind of saw this preview back earlier in one of the classics of the regular season between these two teams in the first go-around. But it was another great game. So there's my mini breakdown of that one. Let's jump over to this game. This game was about as ugly as an AFC championship can get. If you turn this thing off at halftime, you didn't miss a whole lot. It was even Steven at halftime, and that was really about it. The Patriots got into field goal range. The Broncos had a field goal right before half. Of course, they missed it. And Stidham, he threw, I think he had 130 yards maybe in the first half. And then the snow started coming down. And the Patriots and Mike Vrabel said, all right, well, we have Mike Vrabel. We have a great defense. We're not going to let you score. And we're going to force you to throw it to beat us. We're going to crowd the box. We're going to put our guys one-on-one coverage. We've got great corners, Christian Gonzalez. We've got great back-end safety help. And that was really the difference. Of course, the Patriots, they had a great drive. Drake May ran for that touchdown. And everyone talking about Drake May playing well. Of course, the stats aren't going to show it. It was a 10 completion, less than 100-yard game. But when he needed to get it done, he did. He ran the ball 10 times. They used his legs. You saw his ability to run the ball in the snow. And in some ways, it reminded me of Josh Allen, just a big, capable quarterback, a physical guy that's able to lead your team. And the Patriots did what it took to win. So while the Seahawks really impressed on both sides of the ball, we know they've had a championship caliber defense. They might have the best defense in football. In fact, I think so. They kept my fantasy team alive this season. The Patriots also have a great defense. And you look at these last 4 quarterbacks, I mean, Drake May, Sam Darnold, Jared Stidham, and of course, Matt Stafford, the last guy. A lot of these guys, Matt Stafford's the only true great quarterback out of the rest of these guys left. Drake Maye's had a great season, but out of all the quarterbacks, we looked at that graphic earlier in this draft class, all those quarterbacks that are probably better than Sam Darnold. You look, it's all about the supporting cast, and I think these teams have kind of showed it. I thought maybe the Broncos would have a chance, but turns out you need a little bit more than Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, who, again, in the first half did not play particularly bad. They missed that field goal that really would have helped. But, of course, the Patriots won this game, and probably rightfully so. For the sake of the Super Bowl, we'll have a little bit more competitive of a game this year. But let's talk about it. So, at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the playoffs, I predicted the Jaguars and I think the Rams. I thought Sam Darnold was going to turn it over. I predicted this game in the AFC or the NFC Championship. I thought Stafford was gonna play better. He played great. I thought Darnold was going to turn it over, and I thought the Seahawks were going to have a hard time breaking that 20-point threshold like they did the first time in the game. I didn't know what to look for Darnold in the clutch, and for all the guys like Colin Cowherd that believed in Sam Darnold long ago, haters of Baker Mayfield, I'm sure it feels good for them to finally have some of those thoughts and some of those, beliefs in these guys held true. And just a great season. I mean, it was a really, really great season. Now, I think part of that comes down to the fact that a lot of these teams are pretty even. We've got a great season. We've got great players, great storylines. Everyone's happy that the Chiefs had a down year. It allowed some other teams to get in the mix. And part of the great season, I think, comes down to, again, the fact that a lot of these teams are even. So we've had injuries through the playoffs. Some teams didn't play their best. Other teams stepped up. We've got a Super Bowl, and it's not two juggernauts. This is not a Super Bowl where these are by far the best two teams in football. Both of these teams that are here have lost to other teams in the playoff, but they turned it on at the right time. Of course, that's football, but I think a lot of people are not really hyping this Super Bowl up to be really what it should. It's two okay quarterbacks. Well, Drake Maye is a very good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. They're good quarterbacks, but in terms of payment and top paying guys, this is a slap in the face of every $200+ million contract you've given. I think the Seahawks signed Sam Darnold for less than $100 million for 3 or 4 years. I mean, it was a very team friendly deal where you could buy him out, you could use him, trade him away, you could let him walk, he could kind of help some of your younger guys develop if you were going to draft and use Jalen Milroe. Turns out Darnold was slinging it last year, and the rest of the league just overlooked him. Darnold was slinging it, and he played on par with Matt Stafford, one of the best quarterbacks of today right now. I mean, Stafford put his body on the line. I think this is his last year too. It's really sad, but the Rams stuck in this one, and it was a great game. So let's talk about this Super Bowl. Who are we predicting to win? I want to keep this thing inside of 10 minutes because it's late and, of course, school calls. So let's talk about it. I think the Seahawks win big. I mean, we've seen the Seahawks. They've put up 30 points in both of these playoff games, and their defense really shined in the last game. I don't see the Patriots' offense having as good. They haven't moved the ball as well as the Rams did in the playoffs. Now, the Rams' defense, that was really lacking. The Panthers pushed them. They got pushed in the last round as well against the Bears, hanging on for dear life. They were limping in to the NFC Championship game, and the Seahawks won. They won kind of comfortably there at the end. Now, for the Patriots, I just don't see the firepower. I think the Seahawks can get over 30 easily. They're going to get over 30, and honestly, I might even, if I was going to be a betting man, that might be something that I look at, the Seahawks scoring. Can the Patriots do that? I don't know. I don't know that they have the receiving threats. They're just the consistent enough running the game. The consistency for both of these teams is a little all over the place, but I know I can trust the Seattle defense night in and night out to give the offense a chance. Whether the score shows it or not, this team led for almost the entire game. And that's a huge part of the defense. So I'm going to take Seattle to win. We'll see if that changes. I'll take Seattle to win. I don't know what the point spread is, but I'd pick Seattle to win by, I don't know, 4 points. Is that they won by 4 points at this game? We'll take them to win by 4 just here. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the point spread is, but that's going to be it. And yeah, looking at Sam Darnold, it's hard to believe that this guy has made it all the way to the Super Bowl. All the doubting. He beat the Panthers, or this season, of course, and he's bounced around, of course, drafted by the Jets to the Panthers, the backup for them, all the way around, ends up in Minnesota, plays fantastic last year. Turns out this man can sling the ball. He's still a great quarterback, and I think it puts the league on notice that you still got to do some work on figuring out how to evaluate quarterbacks and who can still win games. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon.